Minnesota Wild lead 2-1 in their series against the Dallas Stars, and welcome back to the O Hockey Show. So last night, Minnesota taking control over the series against the Stars in their hellish series so far. Physicality, goal scoring, good goaltending, good plays. The best series to watch so far, in my opinion. I think it's been the most entertaining overall. There's been other good ones, but this one I think is unmatched at this point. I think it's got it all. It's got overtime. It's got close calls. It's got controversy. So it's got all of it, and I love it so far. But this game is the Wild asserting their dominance over the Dallas Stars. 5-1 defeat, which the 5 goals I think is kind of I don't want to. You know what? Never mind. Forget it. The 5 goals is exactly what the Wild deserve to score. I was going to say one of those games where the scoreboard doesn't reflect the game itself, but that would actually be wrong because throughout the whole game, it should have been this score anyways. Just as finally the Wild packed it all in the final few minutes of the game. So the scoreboard does reflect this game and just how good the Wild were overall in this matchup. And the plain and simple reason is the Wild played their game. They played to their strengths. They didn't give up. They played their physicality, shut-down game with a touch of goal scoring. And that's what they are. They're like a gumbo. I have no idea. I've never even had gumbo. What am I talking about? They're like a stew. They're hearty. They're rich, but there's a bit of nice seasoning in there that get them the win, and that's what they did this game. They didn't allow Dallas to get the wheels going, and Dallas, they couldn't get the engine started. They'd put the key in, and sometimes they'd skate down the ice. They look like they might start getting something going. It's like you're putting the key in the ignition, and before they can turn it, the Minnesota Wild would shut down anything from really starting the engine for the Dallas Stars and not letting them get into their rhythm and rush of what they did in Game 2 and really Game 1, but this game was all Wild. Home advantage. I don't know if that was as much of a factor for Dallas. Dallas's crowd, I gotta say, was a lot rowdier, but regardless of anything, the Wild win playing their game and shutting them down. So, start of the game, I gotta say, was pretty back and forth each way for each team. Nothing much happening. My hair is pretty crazy today. I apologize for any weird jump ups. Don't worry about it. You know what? Hang on. There we go. It's all fixed. So, anyways, so the beginning of the game, either team going back and forth, neither one getting a real advantage over the other. Like, they couldn't really get anything going against the other one. Pretty meh to begin with. Minnesota got a power play. That was pretty meh. Nothing happened of it. Nothing really occurred to get anything going. But I wanted to note early, Randy Hahn on commentary. I don't know if many of you know who he is, but he is a childhood, he's my favorite commentator ever. He's the commentator on one of the 2K games. He's the commentator of my childhood team. Well, still my favorite team, but the San Jose Sharks. So he's been like the commentator forever, and seeing him commentate this game with this being the best series was pretty good. Also, Johnston. I want to just say, Wyatt Johnston, yes, he might not have the most points for a rookie this year, but in the playoffs at this point, he's playing better than Beniers. McTavish isn't even in it, and throughout the season, he was pretty good. So I just think Beniers, he gets the more minutes than Johnston does, so I don't know. Johnston should be given a little bit more credit for maybe the rookie race, because I don't know. The way he's playing compared to Beniers in the playoffs, he's looking really good right now. And also, I just want to say, Eriksson X injury, starting the game with only 19 seconds of play, and he gets taken out, can't play anymore. That is a bad one. That is a hard one for Minnesota to eat. I mean, I know you've probably heard if you watched any of the games, but he is a very good two-way guy. He can get points as well. And he's he was as big as a contributor to this team as, well, maybe not so much that, but he's a very important player. He's like the Nazem Kadri of the Wild on Colorado last year. Like, if you were booking the Wild as Stanley Cup champions, he is their number 2 guy, right? So, anyways, just saying, pretty bad injury. Well, against Dallas, it might be fine, but if they get to the second round, they have to play the Avalanche or Seattle. I don't know if they can survive an injury with Eck being out. But anyways, moving on to the rest of the game. Evason and Minnesota apparently very angry with the Dallas Stars for diving. Marchment gets draws a penalty, I believe, early on. They're calling him diving. and I was paying more attention, and maybe so. Marchment was definitely throwing himself around. Heiskanen's hit looks like he was maybe trying to throw himself around, but I don't know. But it does look a little fishy, I just gotta say. They might have a point going forward for them. So, anyways, moving on. Late in the first, Zuccarello finally does get a crazy tic-tac-toe goal. And I don't mean the one where they pass it back and forth and then they finally shoot it. The puck goes from the defense to a wing. No, it goes D to D to a wing, back off the pad, Zuccarello goal. Like, there's no way for Dallas to... But Dallas... What they need, they're not shutting it down. They're not getting on those guys to stopping the plays. There's an open lane for them to pass all these pucks through, and that's not helping their case either. So Zuccarello gets the lucky well, not lucky, but kind of lucky bounce, and Zook buries it for the first goal of the game. Second, Dallas starts to get going. They look kind of hot to start, but it was all shut down when Mojo says no to any engine starting with a absolutely amazing goal. Pass from Matt Boldy, and he just does an individual effort. Nice play, perfect move to get around the guy. Shoots it this far side. I mean, there's so many ways to score a goal, but I gotta say the most dangerous goals this year have all been far side on the blocker. That has so many goals have been scored like that. 2 against Sorokin from fast. This goal, I think that was the way they scored the one goal the other night as well. Like, a lot of games, I mean, I know, there's so obvious, far side, blocker side, it's not anything new, but I just gotta say, that seems to be the most dangerous goal this season, this playoff so far, but that's neither here or there, just kind of something I've noticed, but whatever. So beautiful goal by Mojo, but then all of a sudden, a really weird bouncing puck just finds its way, I think on Delandria's stick, I believe, doesn't matter who, on a Dallas Stars stick, in Gustafsson can't stop it. It just gets in. And speaking of which, Philip Gustafsson, starting him over Fleury. Now, I understand why Dean Evison did start Fleury in Game 2. Gustafsson had a great Game 1, goes into Game 2. I gotta say, Dallas, I think they would have still won that game regardless of what goalie was in net. They were way better. Would you rather have Gustafsson start Game 1, get that amazing game, and then you put him into Game 2 and Dallas is that hot, and after that really hard-fought win with 50-whatever saves and getting the win, and then he gets scored on 7 times? I don't know if they would have gotten scored on 7 times with Gustafsson, but I still think Dallas would have played that way. They had the wheel going. And I don't know, if you have your young goalie start and then he gets all those goals scored on him, that ruins his confidence going into Game 3. I get why you start Fleury in preparedness for Dallas's revenge in Game 2. So it makes sense to me. But starting Gustafsson tonight, obviously the right choice, and it pays off. Only 1 goal against him this game, which isn't really his fault. It's his team. His team shut down Dallas. He didn't really get challenged that much. But anyways, bad bounce of the puck and good goal. Well, whatever. Interesting goal for the Dallas Stars to get it 2-1 at that point. Minnestota starts to pick up later on, and Marcus Foligno high-sticking goal. Now, this, I'm going to go out there, and I personally believe that this was a high stick. Because just think about it. The goal is 4 feet tall, right? It's 4 feet tall. Marcus Foligno is 6'3", okay? He is 2 feet and 3 inches taller. When you watch the play, he hits the puck around, and I don't care what Panger says. He said that it's like when the puck was in the net, he was by his waist. He hits the puck around this, well, he's taller than me, but he hits it about like this side of like his shoulder. His shoulder is far above the height of the post. And the referee's call, they don't say that he was below the crossbar. They go as far as being so specific as saying that he hit it at the length, at the height of the crossbar. That is absurd. I wish they would have just said it was below, and I was be like, okay. But they said that it was at the same level. So you're telling me, I know they're crouching, because players crouch a little. So his minimal crouching, which lowers him like by a few inches, and him going down like this, that is enough to make it the same height as 4 feet tall? There's no way. There's just no way, but whatever. Marcus Foligno with a goal, and he was on fire tonight. Marcus Foligno, Absolutely fantastic. He's been hot this whole series, and he gets a good goal well, bad goal, but a good goal for him. And he had almost a really close call later on. Foligno, he's a heart and soul guy. He's a heartbeat guy once he gets going, and just fantastic player to watch. I mean, he doesn't do anything fancy, but he shows up out of nowhere because he's physical, so he can get the puck and he can shove guys off of him. He can power his way through and then make one cool move to try to score, and he almost did that later on with a backhand. So Marcus Foligno, type of guy that you need to have on your team to win playoffs, because he's the type of guy that all the attention goes to Kaprizov and Zuccarello, but then Foligno gets out there and they're like, okay, time to go on the rush, but then he gets the puck, he skates down, you can't stop him, and then he makes a cool move to score. He's that type of guy that you need to win the playoffs with. So, Foligno, great job tonight. But anyways, moving on. From there on, from that goal on, the Stars didn't score another goal since that bouncing puck one. But since then, that goal, I don't know what it was, but maybe the controversy call or maybe the review got into the Wild, and they were on the entire rest of the night. There's nothing else to talk about. Ever since then, they were on. The Wild controlled the game. They were in charge. They just shut down everything, and I think the commentators really put it well, is that they control the middle of the ice, and Dallas is just not getting any momentum going. They're not getting the wheels moving. They're just, I don't want to say they're slow. They definitely were trying tonight, but they just couldn't get anything, the flow. They couldn't get the puck moving, shoot it, blocked, rebounds. They couldn't get anything going tonight. And the shots they would get off, none of them really that dangerous, I gotta say. Gustafsson, he wasn't a standout goaltender. I'm sure all the people are going to be like, Gustafsson's amazing, because he wins the 2 games, only getting scored on once. But that's not it. His team shut down everything. The Stars, they couldn't get anything moving out there. And that's the biggest thing. Minnesota, my question to them, winning this game 5-1, they just keep going on. I think Mojo scored another amazing goal. Zuccarello scored an amazing goal as well on the breakaway. Amazing stuff to watch. But really, my question at the end of this game, does Minnesota keep this up again at home? I don't think, the question of people are always going like so far in the series, like, can they keep this up for the rest of the series? I think it's more important, can they keep this up for game 4, upcoming at home again? Because if they win that, they're up 3-1 in the series. They can just try to find one more win throughout the rest of the games in the whole series. They got plenty of time to get one more win. But if they can get that one win next game, keep up the shutdown game for just one more game till they go to Dallas, and things might be rowdy in that building. They're going to try really hard. They might have to give up that, well, not have to, but they might give up that game. They might not be able to contain Dallas, but then they go back home with the momentum on their side, with the home crowd. They might be able to do it again. So can they do it in game 4, or they let Dallas catch up? Because they've got the physicality, they got the shutdown play, but can they, with the touch of skill of Kaprizov and Boldy, can they get the win again in game 4? I think it just comes down to game 4. If Minnesota wins game 4, I think they have this series in the bag. Obviously, 3-1, it's like, duh. But I think they really would have had this series on lock. If they lose it, I still think I lead towards Dallas, because I think with the Dallas win at away ice might give them a big advantage, because I think they go home 2-2 with that building after a win. They're going to pick that one up, and I don't know if you can really stop Dallas from getting that 3-2 victory and going on to 4. And Dallas, can they find their legs? Can they find the rush and hustle in game 4? Can they, because if they don't, the series gets out of reach, and then I don't think they can catch up after that. There's no way they're going to win 3 games in a row. I just don't see Minnesota giving that up. And for Dallas, they just got to find that hustle, that grind, and I mean, they have it. They've shown it in the first 2 games of the series. Tonight, I just don't think I think they were just tired. I think they came in this game like, okay, here we go again. And I think this game's going to be their spark to get going. I think game 1 sparked game. Game 1, they were good, and the loss sparked them to go on a rampage in game 2. And I think ever since then, they were like just, I don't want to say tired out, but all their adrenaline got out in game 2. And this one, they came in there, they didn't have that, like, I got to kill this team type attitude, you know? They came into it being like, okay, let's do this. and let's go out there and win. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have the motivation to win this game. They didn't have that redemption that they need to have. So I think this might be a good spark for them next game. But anyways, that's all I got to say. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching this. Please, I'm begging you, pick up your free subscription, please. And until next time, too sweet, have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.